Hey guys, what's up? Back with another Escape from Tarkov video. And in today's video, I'm going to be going over my beginner's guide. For those of you new to Tarkov, I tried my best to make this as short as possible. I was going to do like this whole 10-minute plan, under 10 minutes, but there's just too much stuff. I can't, because I want to be so detail oriented. So this is going to be a little longer. This isn't even my full detailed video, but I hope this does help you guys. So let's get into it. So when you first load up the game, you'll be introduced to your PMC, and on this screen you'll choose whether you want to be a USEC or a bear. The main difference between these two are the weapons that they give you and some items that they give you starting out, such as the USEC is the American side, so you'll have M4, MP5, things like that, and the bear is the Russian side, so we'll have something like AKs, PM pistols, and things like that. Next, when you load up the game and you get to your inventory, yours is roughly going to look like this, but you'll have a bunch of grayed out spaces like these. What you want to do is make sure that you examine each and every single one by pressing your middle mouse button. You then get free XP down here, and it's a great thing to do so that you don't have to do it so many times while you're in raid searching for items. Next, we're going to go over your Scav karma. Now, Scav is what you can also play in Tarkov. This will be a randomized character with random gear. Your scavs are usually the hostile NPCs inside of the Tarkov raids that are going against your PMC. But as a scav, you want to make sure that you don't kill scavs, because there is a new thing called Scav karma, and make sure you don't kill other scavs or other player scavs unless they shoot you, unless they hit you. They have to hit you first before you are allowed to actually shoot them. If you do kill them, you increase your Scav karma, but make sure you don't shoot anyone unless they hit you first. If they shoot at you, it doesn't matter. That's not going to give them negative points, but if they hit you with a round, then you're allowed to shoot them, and you'll get increased Scav karma if you do kill them. Killing PMCs also increases your Scav karma as well. And extracting through different extractions with PMCs. There's different extractions on the map when you're a scav that you can partner up with a PMC and extract there, and you will increase your Scav karma there as well. All right, here we go. Next, we're going to talk about guns, ammo, and your magazine. So if you want to know what ammo your gun takes, double click it. It'll be in the top left what the caliber round is, or you shall see it here when it's in the caliber section, 5.5645. And so you want to make sure you get the right magazine, and to know if you have the right magazine, it will tell you 5.5645 up in the top left or down in the description. In terms of knowing which ammo you need, you just right click on the magazine, go to load ammo, and if you have the required ammo that can fit in here, it'll be right here, 5.5645, and you choose whatever ammo you want to put in here. But also be careful, because in certain magazines, different rounds can go in that same magazine. For instance, in this AK mag, you right click, go to load ammo, and as you can see right here, it can take 7.62 by 3.9, or it can take 0.366 ammo. So you want to be careful. If you do load 0.366 ammo in here, do not put it in a 7.62 by 3.9 AK, because then you'll go to shoot and it will not shoot. So keep that in mind. Next, I want to go over how much your ammo really matters in this game and not so much your gun. So I wanted to show you guys this quick ammo chart that's very, very helpful. I'll leave the link to that in the description below. And you just scroll down here, and here's the quick explanation of the table's headlines, meaning you can read all of these. It will tell you everything you need to know, what each description and value stands for. And here you can look through all the different ammo types that are in the game. It's a great tool to use when you want to figure out what ammo you want to use when it comes to penetrating armor and penetrating flesh. Next, I'm going to go over all the gear that goes on your PMC. So first off, we're going to start with your earpiece, your headphones, and with these, they're going to amplify footstep audio and suppress gunshot audio and things like that. I just have the cheapest headset on right now. There are many different types of headsets in the game. You probably want to just try different ones, see which one you like the best, and go from there. They range from many different prices. These are the cheapest ones, and some go up in price, and so you just got to figure out which ones you really enjoy and just run with those. Next, we have your headwear section. These are where you place your helmets and things like that, or other hats and things like that, but you usually want to bring in a helmet. Helmets have armor points, ricochet chance, armor class. The higher the armor class, the higher tier ammo you need in order to penetrate that. The higher the ricochet chance, the higher chance you have of a bullet ricocheting off your helmet, thus not killing you. Armor points are basically the health of your armor piece or item that you have on your person. You have different stats that affect your character right here. It'll go into detail and explain everything that it affects while you're in your raid. And here we have the armor areas. This will tell you what areas on your person that it protects. Next, we have your tactical rig, and this is an item that you want to use in order to place your magazines, grenades, health kits, anything like that. That are easy for you to access. You want to make sure your magazines are always in your rig or in your pocket, because when you go to press R to reload, it will actually pull the mag from your rig or your pocket and reload that. If you ever have it in your backpack, you will not be able to press R in order to reload. You'll have to manually unload the mag and reload it like that. So you want to be sure that you always have your mags up here, so that in a situation where you really need to reload fast, you are able to. They also have specific container sizes. This one is a 16 slot tactical vest. There are also armored vests that are 2-in-1, so they cover your body armor and your tactical rig. For example, right here, this is level 1 ragman, and you'll be able to find one right here. This is an armored rig. It's armor class level 3 and has a container size of 10. So that is an example of your 2-in-1 armor and rig. Next, you have eyewear, and I actually don't have any eyewear to show you on my person right now, but here you can go to ragman, and this is level, let's see, level 1. You have these, and these actually protect your eyes against flashbang and has a 10% chance to protect you against flashbang, 15%. Otherwise, I don't usually run glasses much just because I don't care to have them on, but if you so choose, there's another pair of glasses that actually have a ricochet chance and stuff. And last but not least, we have our backpack. Now you can get backpacks of various shapes and sizes. This one is a 30 container slot backpack, and the bigger the backpack, the more money you're going to make in raid, the more items you can actually fit inside of your backpack. So be aware of that. The most common backpack to use when you're starting out would probably be the Burk Cut, the MBSS, or the Scav backpack, but the Burk Cut is the same size as the Scav backpack, 20 container size. So these will be your common ones that you would use as a starter in Tarkov. Forgot to also mention, there are nades in the game. You will get a various amount of nades at the beginning when you're starting. You'll want to take these in order to make people push if they're holding a certain area. There are also flashbangs. You always want to keep those in your rig or your pockets in order to be able to throw them quickly, pressing G, or you can always hotkey them to where you are able to throw them by pressing that hotkey. It's usually on the number pad, so you can hit 4 here. All you do is mouse over 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whichever one you want to use. Just mouse over it and press that number on your keypad. And so when you go into raid, you press 4, you'll pull it out, and then you have to proceed. You have to left click in order to throw it. I also believe if you hotkey a grenade, pull it out and make sure it's in your hand, you can right click in order to just underhand throw it. You also have your melee weapon. Now, I don't use the melee weapon a lot, but I know some people do. If you run out of rounds and you have no other option, you can pull out your melee weapon here. And if you have the standard edition, you'll be given a standard knife. I don't know if I have one. Something that looks kind of like this. You'll be given a knife, and it'll tell you the damage that it does and things like that. But you can get different melee weapons in the game, like this axe here you can find in raid. You just put it in your slot and you'll actually never lose your melee weapon item. It will not disappear when you die. Same thing with your armband. If you choose to have an armband on, this will not leave your body when you die. You'll keep your armband and you'll keep your sheath. Next, I'm going to go over your secure container. And if you have the standard edition, you will start out with an alpha container, which will have 4 slots free here. I have a gamma container, so I tried to make it look like your alpha. So basically what you want to do is use this for any items that you find in raid that you don't want to lose, or items that you may want to take in raid so that you don't lose them when you die. Because everything you go in with, if you die, you lose it unless it's in your container, it's your melee weapon, or it's your armband. If you do die and they are in your container, they will no longer have the item found in raid status, so you won't be able to turn them in for a task or sell them on the flea market. So they will basically look like this. They won't have a check mark in the bottom corner, so just be aware of that. If you need them for a hideout, it's great to stick them in here, but if you need them for a task or flea, even if you may keep it, but you can't sell it or use it for your task, so keep that in mind. All right, here we go. Next, we're going to talk about your energy, hydration, and your meds. So first off, Your hydration is down here and your energy is right here. In raid, you want to make sure this doesn't drop to 0 because once it does, you start losing health. So be sure to keep it above 0 at all times. Water bottles you can use. It gives you plus 350 hydration and plus 20 energy. I believe that is if you use the whole thing, but you can choose to use different amounts as needed. And or you find drinks like this that give you plus energy and plus hydration. They also have some other stats here you guys can check out on your own. Now with food, make sure that you really pay attention to some of these, because mayonnaise, for instance, hydration is minus 99. So it'll give you all the energy, but it'll tank your hydration. So be careful with that. Certain things like squash are great because they only affect your energy. They give you plus 40 energy and don't affect your hydration. Next we have meds. So I'm going to quickly explain light bleeds and heavy bleeds. Light bleeds will require a bandage. This stops light bleeds, and so does this one. It's just 2 uses instead of 1. All right, so now for heavy bleeds, you will need a tourniquet like this. This only has 1 use though. So if you have multiple bleeds, you're going to need multiple tourniquets, or you want to use a hemostatic applicator. I call it a hemostat. You use this and it has 3 uses for it. Stopping heavy bleeds. Perfect thing to go in raid with, and you have 3. You can use it 3 times. I usually always put one in my container just so I always have one. It's a great thing to always have on your person. Now there are a few other meds that will stop heavy bleeds, but they take a good chunk out of the life of your med kits. So be sure to always have these types of things in order to not take a ton of life out of your med kit. Next, your character may receive fractures while being shot at in raid or from falls. So you want to make sure you have a splint. This will remove any fracture. It takes 5 seconds to use. You can also have an alu splint, which is 5, which allows you to use it 5 times, and it does the same thing, removes fracture. Just a little bit less time to use it, but it will do roughly the same thing, repair your fracture, and you can use it 5 times. Last but not least, if you find a shotgun scav, shot your arm and it's blacked out, literally has 0 health, you want to make sure you have a CMS kit, which has 5 uses, takes 16 seconds to use, or a surf kit, which has 15 uses. It takes about 20 seconds to use in order to repair those blacked out limbs. There's no other way you can heal your limbs unless you have one of these 2 things. But if you don't have one, be sure to always bring in painkillers, because you will be able to take these painkillers and it allows you to still move as if you had a non-broken limb. Like let's say your leg is blacked out, it causes you to limp. If you take painkillers, you will still be able to walk normally and even run. But every time you run, it takes health down. So be aware of that. If you are trying to run, make sure you keep healing yourself as you are running, because it will slowly kill you if you don't. Vaseline and golden stars are also different types of painkillers. They have a little bit different effects over here, as you can see. Once you click on them, you guys can see what each of them do. But these are also some painkillers that you'll find in raid. But these are the standard ones that you are given at the beginning, and they work well enough to get you where you're going if you find yourself without a CMS or a surf kit. And then to regularly heal any limb that may be down, like let's say my head is down to 10, you can use anything from a Salua to an AI2 med kit to an IFAC. These all will heal any limb that isn't bleeding or isn't blacked out. Let's talk about character skills. Now, in Escape from Tarkov, you have character skills, and these are all leveled up through playing the game. So we have different categories. We got physical, mental, combat, practical. I don't believe that the special ones are in use right now. So we're going to go over the main ones that you'll focus on a lot are the physical ones. So for example, endurance, health, immunity, metabolism, strength, vitality, and stress resistance. So honestly, a lot of these you can hover over and they'll basically explain what they do when you're in the menu on your game. Or you can go on the Tarkov wiki right here, click on it, and it'll give you a brief description. Endurance influences the amount of stamina and the rate of exhaustion while running or jumping, as well as holding and restoring breath. So it'll explain what it is, and basically in order to raise it, it'll tell you here, sprinting while not being overweight and walking while not being overweight will level up your endurance. And so you can just click on these as you wish, and it will explain everything you need to know on how to raise that specific skill level. But just know that endurance and strength are very important. Strength is what allows you to be able to jump higher and things like that and carry heavier items, and endurance is great for having longer stamina and being able to run for a longer period of time without getting tired. So just keep those in mind. Okay, I want to briefly go over your hideout. So this is what your hideout looks like. To access your hideout, you will click on the tab down here. Your hideout is made up of different parts that make up your whole hideout. So the main one you want to know about is generator. This will allow you to have power in your hideout in order to be able to craft things like meds to your med station. Also want to show you guys the Escape from Tarkov wiki hideout page. This, you can scroll down and click on each individual hideout item that you are wanting to upgrade. So let's say med station you want to upgrade. You need 50,000 rubles, 1 disposable syringe, 1 pile of meds, and this will allow you to craft AI2 med kits, Saluas, the hemostatic, and it will give you a health regeneration rate of plus 27 HP an hour while your character is out of raid. This is a great tool to use to figure out which items you need to find in raid in order to bring out to your hideout so you can get that upgraded and going. And first of all, I really recommend upgrading your workbench. It requires 2 screw nuts, 2 bolts, and 1 Leatherman multi-tool. The reason I recommend upgrading this very quickly is because you have off-raid weapon customization abilities. So that looks like this. When you go to your weapon here, if you right click, you'll be able to hit modding and edit preset. So you can only do this if you have the workbench crafted in your hideout. This allows you to customize your weapon to each individual weapon part slot. So you'll have the receiver, the magazine, the handguard, the barrel, the stock, the bolt, all kinds of things. And so this is how you can change around different scopes on your guns, and you can customize whatever you want here, whatever you have. These are items that I have in my stash. So if you hit modding, it'll choose from items that you have in your stash. So you may have different stocks that fit on one gun, or you may have nothing like that. I don't have anything to put there. Here I do have a rail that I can put on, and I do have a grip that I have in my stash. Or if you're looking to build a gun and you don't have any parts on it, let's say like this DVL I have, you hit edit preset, and this will show you all of the scopes and things you can put on your gun that you have examined already. So if you haven't examined everything, be sure that you know that it won't be there. It won't show up here in the modding section or in the edit preset section, but you still can get them. They still are out there, maybe on the flea market. If you haven't examined them, they just won't show up for you. The edit preset function makes it so much easier to figure out what will work on your gun. Otherwise, it gets very confusing if you have to go through the flea market or through a trader to find out what goes on which part of your gun, in terms of if a specific muzzle brake can fit on that gun, or if you need a specific muzzle brake and then a silencer on top of it to use it. Things like that. It gets very confusing on building a gun if you don't have your workshop. So once you get your workshop, it makes it so much simpler and easy with the modding and the edit preset tool. So for example, without your workbench finished, let's say you wanted a grip and you have this rail, you would right click and hit link search, and this will pull up all of the possible foregrips that will go with this rail that you have on your gun that you can buy and put on your gun. Now when you don't have the flea, this won't be possible to hit linked search because this searches automatically on the flea market, so keep that in mind. All right, now when it comes to playing maps, there are multiple different maps you can choose from in Tarkov. You can interchange customs, woods, factory, reserve, shoreline, and those are and labs, and these are all the ones that are currently available to play. And I recommend learning customs first because you will have a lot of tasks and quests here that you will need to get done. And there are also 2 different times you can select from. So 1052, this being AM morning, and this being 2253, so this will be nighttime raid. So be careful when you do a nighttime raid. If you don't have night vision, it will be very dark in specific maps. So go into a night raid at your own risk. I suggest waiting until you have night vision or something like that. But if you so choose to, sometimes you can get away with finishing tasks because people aren't able to see you as well and spot you. So choose whichever one you prefer. I do recommend daytime while you are learning so that you can really understand where you're at, where things are at in the map, and really get a feel for that specific map you're playing. Each map also has its own time limit in terms of how long the raid is. These times listed on here, however, aren't accurate. They haven't been updated. Just pay attention at the very beginning when you spawn in your map. At the top right, it will show all your extracts also with a timer. So that will show you how long that specific raid is for that map. And if you miss it, just double tap the O key and it will show you how much time you have left in that raid and your extract. Now I'm going to go over some quests or tasks that I always say tasks. They're called quests technically, but this is the Tarkov wiki. This is a great place to go so that you can click on each individual trader and see what their tasks are. So I highly recommend working on your tasks from the very beginning. So now I said learn customs first, and this is why you want to learn customs first. Your very first quest with Rapport is to eliminate 5 scavs on customs, and you need to obtain 2 MP133 shotguns. Now those shotguns can be found anywhere. They don't have to be found on customs, but you do have to eliminate 5 scavs on customs. Anyway, you guys can check this out and you can scroll down and see what each individual task is called. You can actually click that task as well, and it will bring you to its own page where it goes into description and detail of what you need and the rewards that you get from finishing that task. All right, next we're going to talk about insurance. So let's say you're going to go into customs 1722. You hit next, and this is where you get to your insurance page. If you insure things, it means that if you die in raid and no player picks up your items and takes them out of the raid, you will automatically get them back if they're insured. So always insure the items that you want to get back. If there's items that you don't care as much about, you don't have to insure those. But usually at the beginning, I tend to insure everything. When you're starting out, insure everything, and it will show you in the bottom right how much it's going to cost you. It does cost rubles, so keep that in mind. All right, and you can insure with 2 different people. You can either insure with Rapport or Therapist. Rapport takes about 24 to 36 hours in order to get you your items back. Therapist takes about 10 to 20 hours, but hers is significantly more, a decent amount more. So it all depends on what you can afford, but I usually just go with Rapport because it doesn't usually matter how long it takes me to get my items as long as I'm getting those back. All right, here we are. We spawned into customs. As you can see, it's raining. There are different weather effects that do happen in Tarkov. And what we want to do is double tap O to see where our extractions are. We have ZB013, Dorms V, EX, DB1011, Old Gas Station, and ZB1012. So these are all your possible extractions. When they have question marks, that means that they may be available or they may not be available. So if someone else takes them, that will make them be unavailable. Some of them can be taken multiple times, but I believe it's throughout a time period. So they may not be available when you need them to be. So just keep that in mind. If they don't have question marks, they will always be available no matter what. Some will also need power to be turned on in order to use them. All right, so I just typed customs map Tarkov. Map Genie is a good place to check out your maps. It has a bunch of labels that you can show where everything's at, where people spawn, things like that. But I'm going to go ahead and hide all so you guys can see each name. So I'm going to zoom in here, and this is about where we spawned right here. This is that building I was looking at called Stronghold. And this is the diagram of it, and ZB013 is down below. And we also have the extract for ZB1011, which is in the far right corner. This is your definite extract. It will always be open and will always be there. So this is a great way to look at all your extracts. They'll be listed. This is the dorms one. This is a car extract, which takes rubles. And there's different, all the extracts are highlighted in green. So you just figure out where you spawned. If you spawn on this side of the map, you'll always have an extract on this side. If you spawn on this side of the map, you will always have an extract on this side. And I guess technically over here, you will have the extract on this side. All right, so once you are in raid, I'm going to show you some quick tips and tricks. So here we have a scav. Quickly. And what you're going to do is go touch his body, search him. You will gain XP every single time. And what you want to do is search his body, and to quickly put items on your person, if you have nothing there, like I have no gun here, you just hit Alt left click to quickly get something from a body or a container onto your person. Same thing goes for anything on here. So if I want to quickly take mags, I use Control left click. If I want to put it in a rig or in a backpack, it's always Control left click to quickly put items. So if you want to take the whole backpack here, Control left click. If it fits inside, it will work. So that's just another tip and trick. Control left click and alt left click. Also forgot to mention, if you want to quickly reload a magazine, double tap R. The only thing is when you do reload it, it will drop your magazine on the ground and it won't go in your rig. So be careful of doing that. Sometimes I know I've done it out of panic. So just keep that in mind because it will fall on the ground and you'll have to pick it up. Also be sure to have space when you are reloading, because if you for some reason have everything filled up and you don't have a space for your mag to go, it will drop on the ground when you are reloading. So keep that in mind as well. Try to keep 2 slots available if you have a full-size mag so that you can reload without losing a magazine. And at the bottom left, it will show the green bar is your stamina bar. The other bar above that is your ADSing bar. So you can only ADS so long and then your gun will start to sway. So just keep that in mind. Your stamina will drain as you're running, as you're jumping. It will drain a lot more when you're jumping. And if you're just crouch walking, I believe... Oh my goodness. If you're just crouch walking, it will not go up. Your stamina won't regen. But if you stop crouching and you walk along, it'll keep going up. Also be aware of your weight. If you have too many items, you will become overweight and your stamina eventually won't regen unless you stop completely. So be aware of that. If you do find yourself overweight, just be careful in terms of needing to run away. If your stamina is low, it will help you increase your strength skill. But sometimes it can be a bit risky. If someone shoots you and you can't run, you may find yourself out in the open and you may die. So just be aware of your kilogram down here so that you're not overweight. It will also be yellow. It'll be a dark yellow if you are overweight. Another thing I wanted to show you guys is that when you have a laser sight or a flashlight on, you can toggle these on and off by pressing T. And if you have a variant of a laser sight and a flashlight, some of them do, you hit Control T, and this will change the variant of your laser sight. This one is just a laser, so it doesn't have a flashlight, but you can control these in order to turn them off. You have a flashlight separate and a red laser sight separate. You can make it to where when you press T to turn them both on, they're both on. The flashlight's on while the laser sight's on at the same time. And if you have a scope like this, a hybrid scope, for me, I changed mine to middle mouse. You can check that in the settings so that you can make it as easy as possible for you to be able to change your sight, because I think default it is a change scope magnification, right mouse button and alt, or right mouse switch between sights, right mouse button and left control. So I just want to make that easier for myself, so I changed that to middle mouse. Now I'm going to go over all of the traders because these are very important. First we have Rapport, Therapist, Fence, Skier, Peacekeeper, Mechanic, Ragman, Jaeger, and they all buy different items that you find throughout your raids. And Ragman will buy all of your various armors, rigs, backpacks, and accessories, clothing items. So if you want to get rid of those items and you don't have the flea market yet, be sure to sell those to Ragman because it's a great way to make some money, especially before you have the flea market with items you don't want or don't need. Next we have Jaeger. Now Jaeger won't be unlocked at the very beginning of when you start playing. I believe you have to complete specific tasks or unlock Jaeger, but once you do get him unlocked, you can sell various items like shotguns, bolt action rifles, melee weapons, hardware items, and medical items to Jaeger for a decent price. But I usually would probably recommend selling all your med items to Therapists, but we shall get on into that in a second. Next we have Therapist, and she is great for selling your medical items, your keys, your barter items, dog tags, food and water type items. She'll give you the most for all of those, so be sure to sell all those kinds of items to her if you are not able to sell them on the flea market. Also want to mention that some items on the flea are about the same price as if you were to sell them to a trader, so keep that in mind depending upon the item. For example, I know condensed milk, you always want to just sell that to Therapists because it's always about the same price on the flea market as she will give you for it, so keep that in mind. Next we have Mechanic, and you want to make sure that you sell any ammo, weapons, and attachments that you're not able to sell to Jaeger, because Mechanic will give you the next decent price for all of those types of items. Unless you specifically want US dollars, then you can sell those to Peacekeeper, but usually the best way to make rubles is selling those to Mechanic. Next we have Rapport, and even though he does buy a decent range of items, including some medical, ammo, armor, weapons, and attachments, he doesn't give you the highest amount that some others will give you. So if there are certain things, if you do need to get rep up for him, you will need to spend money. So when you sell things, the money that you have spent here will go up too. So you don't always have to buy things. You can also sell things and this number will go up. So keep that in mind if you're trying to level your trader up. I haven't really talked about the rep, but you have rep for your traders, and you get that by completing tasks. And if you want to level your trader up, you need to have so much money spent, so much rep, and your level needs to be at the specific required amount. So for me, I need to up my rep, so that means I need to do more tasks for Prepor in order to level up to level 3. But anyway, if you want to gain more money with them, you can sell or buy things. So I recommend selling things with Prepor when you want to increase your money spent in order to level him up. Next we have Skier, and for him, I usually don't sell a lot of items to him, but again, in order to level him up, you do need to have so much money spent. So I found myself toward the end really having to just sell a bunch of different items to him, but he'll take anything from different weapons and attachments and things like that. So you do want to make sure that you are selling things to him and or buying some stuff from him so you can level him up. But I would definitely say he's not the first trader I would recommend selling ammo and things like that to. Always sell those things to Mechanic if you can, and Jaeger. Here also allows you to trade rubles for euros. So if you're in need of euros for a hideout upgrade or something like that, sometimes people sell things on the flea market for euros. If you need that, that is what Skier's good for as well. So I forgot to mention that. Next, we have good old Peacekeeper. And with him, everything you sell to him, you will get back US dollars. You can also trade trade for US dollars with your rubles. Peacekeeper will purchase odd weapon, helmet, ammunition, intelligence-based items like SSDs, diaries, folders of intelligence. All of those will be sold for US dollars, so keep that in mind. You will need US dollars in order for different hideout upgrades, and you may need to use them on the flea market or just to increase Peacekeeper's level. So always keep that in mind. If you do need dollars, just sell everything you find to Peacekeeper so that you can level up your hideout and anything else you may need US dollars for. And last but not least, we have Fence here. And he's usually the last one you want to sell any items to. He gives you a very bare minimum amount. Since they've changed some things in the game, you'll pick up a weapon in raid from like a Scav or something, and it will be about 50% in terms of the quality of the gun. And you won't be able to sell those to Mechanic or Jaeger or something. And if you find yourself not able to sell those things, you always just sell them straight to Fence. He'll buy anything from you. And you also have the new Scav Karma rep. But for right now, at the beginning of this, you just want to sell things to him as little as possible. Only sell things that you're not allowed to sell to anybody else. Fence also kind of offers recycled items that people sell so that you can buy them through him. They are usually a little bit pricier, but I'm sure as your rep goes up, you get some sort of discount and you have better opportunities to buy things. I also do need to mention that each trader has a loyalty level. So you'll start out with loyalty level 1, and this is the amount of items that the trader sells and or barters items for. And so you want to keep leveling your character up in game, and you'll get rep by doing tasks for that specific trader. And you also want to spend this certain amount of money with them in order to level up. The higher the level, the better items you can buy and or trade for. As you can see, I have Therapist level 3. So these are all the level 3 exclusive items. And so this will be all of my items that I can buy and trade with Therapist for. So just want to always work your way up and level up your trader as fast as possible and as much as you can. And last but not least, I want to go over the flea market. Now, in the latest Tarkov White 0.12.11 update, they changed the flea market requirement from level 10 to level 20. So now in order to actually access and use the flea market, you need to reach level 20 before you're allowed to sell anything on the flea market or buy anything from the flea market. So when you guys start the game, this will be grayed out and you won't be able to access it. Once you have access to the flea market, it'll look something like this. And this is where you can go in order to look up specific items that you want to buy and or sell on the market. So let's say you want to buy a specific gun. You can go to assault rifles, and let's say I'm looking for an M4 or 416. Let's go 416. I haven't even discovered it. Look at that. So you can see what price things are being sold for. You can see what the gun looks like, and if you want to buy it. So here we have the price. You can also filter items. You can remove bartering offers. You can decide to show only functional items, which will be like the whole gun and things like that. So this is how you see how many rubles it costs, and this is where you would go to purchase it, and you hit yes. There are also, every single item is listed on here. So whatever you need to find, food, drink, medical items, med kits, things like that, you can buy from here. And selling. So you have the flea market unlocked. Let's say you have the flea market unlocked and you want to sell something on the flea market. So you would right click, hit filter by item, and it will show you what that specific item is selling for right now. So you would go to add offer, scroll down to wherever that item is. Actually, I have one up here. And now you type in the amount that you want to sell it for. And this is rubles, US dollars, euros. I usually sell most things for rubles. So right now you would sell it for about, I would do 14,950 or something like that. So that the next person looking for an IFAC will buy yours. And so that's how you go about selling. If this video helped you out in any way, be sure to hit the like button. It really does help me out here on YouTube. And if you want to see more Tarkov content like this, be sure to subscribe. If you're just starting out on Tarkov and you watch this video, please leave a comment below and let me know how it's going for you, how your raids are going. Maybe something that I should have included in this short guide, or something that you're missing, some question you may have. I'd be happy to answer that in the comment section below. Anyway, I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
We represent the Lollipop Guild, the Lollipop Guild, the Lollipop Guild. And in the name of the Lollipop Guild, we wish to welcome you to Munchkin Land. What the heck? Oh no, you just wanted me to say that. That's a voice, didn't you?